The zealots of popular tradition are generally acknowledged to have been founded at the dawn of the Christian era by a figure known as Judas of Galilee, or more accurately perhaps Judas of Gamala. Judas launched his revolt immediately after the death of Herod the Great in 4 BC. One particularly revealing aspect of this revolt is cited by Josephus. At once as soon as mourning for Herod was over, public demand was wiped up for the incumbent Herodian high priest to be deposed and another of great piety and purity to be installed in his place. Accompanied by a priest known as Zadok, apparently a Greek transliteration of Zadok, or as suggested by Eisenman, Zadok, the Hebrew for righteous one. Judas and his followers promptly raided the royal armory in the Galilean city of Sepphoris, plundering weapons and equipment for themselves. Around the same time, either just before or just after, Herod's palace at Jericho near Qumran was attacked by arsonists and burned down. These events were to be followed by some 75 years of incessant guerrilla warfare and terrorist activity, culminating in the full-scale militant operations of AD 66 to 73. In the Jewish wars written in the volatile aftermath of the revolt, Josephus states that Judas of Galilee had founded a peculiar sect of his own. Josephus' second major work, however, Antiquities of the Jews, was composed a quarter of a century or so later, when the general atmosphere was rather less fraught. In this work, therefore, Josephus could afford to be more explicit. He states that Judas and Zadok became zealous, implying something tantamount to a conversion to some recognized attitude or state of mind. Their movement, he says, constituted the fourth sect of Jewish philosophy, and the youth of Israel were zealous for it from the very beginning. The movement was characterized by messianic aspirations. Zadok embodied the figure of the priestly Messiah, descended from Aaron, and Judas, according to Josephus, had an ambitious desire of the royal dignity. The status of the royal Messiah descended from David. Judas himself appears to have been killed fairly early in the fighting. His mantle of leadership passed to his sons. Of whom there were two of them. Jacob and Simon were well-known zealot leaders, captured and crucified by the Romans sometime between AD 46 and 48. The third son, or perhaps grandson, Menahem, was one of the chief instigators of the revolt of AD 66. In its early days, when the revolt still promised to be successful, Menahem is described as making a triumphal entry into Jerusalem in the state of a king. Another manifestation of Messianic dynasty ambitions in AD 66, Menahem also captured the fortress of Masada, the Bastion's last commander, known to history as Eleazar, was another descendant of Judas.